Professor Andrews, distinguished guests, my dear students and colleagues. First of all, I thank the organizers, and Sheena in particular, for conferring on me this honor to speak a few words in honor of a great teacher, scholar, with whom I had the privilege to be associated as a family friend, at least for the past 10-15 years. And we had in fact a tour together to Bangalore and Mysore with Dr. Andrews, with Professor Ivy. I knew, like all the students and colleagues, that she has been an excellent teacher, but to me she is almost like a family member. And I do believe that I have the space and I am treated as a family member in Andrew's family. And Sheena also, rather than being my co-researcher, I would say, she has also been in a kind of family. So I thank the organizers, and I do remember the great service that Professor Ivy has done as a teacher. Thanks once again for this wonderful occasion and invitation. I don't make a prepared speech, because if I make a prepared speech, my students say, it is always create a kind of planned thing. So the feedback of my students and listeners is that it's better that I speak extemporary. So whatever I say is not preconditioned, but maybe I might have jotted certain points. The topic, again, thank you for allowing me to choose my own topic, a topic which I think is relevant. I titled it as Teaching, Learning and Research in Literatures, Trends and Perspectives. I might be critical about myself. I might be critical about the whole process of teaching English literature throughout the country. I might be critical about the whole process that we English teachers. If anybody wants to interrupt me to ask questions, you are welcome throughout. Don't wait for me to finish. It goes without saying that English language and literature was introduced in this country with a specific project. British administrators wanted less paid Indian people to serve them to facilitate their smooth administration. Literature, English literature, was introduced as a part of the curriculum in the post-independent India, and senior professors who were the early English teachers in our country. We do love them. I also remember my Professor C.A. Shepard, who was instrumental in making me an English teacher. I also remember, express my gratitude to learned senior professors, including Dr. George Andrews, who was in a way inspirational to me because the kind of work that he has been doing, the kind of dynamism that he's been showing even after retirement, because I had the privilege to have him in my department after his retirement. So I've been learning a lot from my seniors. But as a person who has been critical about everything, I am now trying to look at the whole process of teaching and learning, especially in English literature, because Malayalam and Hindi we are not now touching, which also has to do a little bit with education. The whole process of education in our country, especially education in humanities. I believe that you all agree with me in saying that education has a purpose. The purpose of colonial education was not to liberate the young minds, but to force us to conform to certain norms, certain standards, certain values. The early scholars who were forced or volunteered to learn English language and literature probably didn't think seriously about the ideological, the politics of learning literature, the cultural aspect of it. But now, in the 21st century, all the students and teachers of English literature should seriously rethink the whole idea of learning and teaching English literature. I didn't expect this large audience. That's why I thought of raising a few questions as I normally do in my interactions. But the number prevents me from asking such questions or maybe expecting answers. So what I do is I might raise my own questions and I might try to answer. And if you differ, you can interact. Okay. So we all know our Tempest, Shakespeare's Tempest. Caliban said, "The only use in you having taught me your language is I know how to curse you." But now the present students should know beyond mere cursing. You should be able to contest the whole notion. Why should we learn? I don't want an answer, but I'll ask you questions, especially to the students. How many of you opted to learn English literature? No answer is needed? Think about yourself. Many of you have not volunteered, or it's not your choice. Either your parents forced you to take English literature, or you might have applied for some other courses, you didn't get admission. Like me, I am a graduate in economics and history. I got admission for MA Economics and MA History. I also wanted to do political science in Marriages College, but I didn't have the wherewithal to be away from my home and to do a course. So I was forced to join St. Joseph's College, Devagiri, because I have a parallel college near that college where I am the principal. I teach up to 9:45 because I have to learn. Throughout, after my +2, I've been supporting myself because my parents couldn't afford. So I am a trespasser to English department. And my principal knew that I am also a principal, but I never misused that opportunity. So when I joined, I felt terribly bad in the classroom because I was only the Malayalam medium student in the English class. All others were speaking wonderful, fluent English. I felt humiliated. I'm sure in our English classrooms, there are students from various backgrounds feeling uncomfortable. And how do teachers approach them? Don't